Alright, so I'm not going to waste your time with Vacco v. Quill again. You probably should know this case by now. It's been through like 12 rounds. Here's the deal. It did 5 things. 1. Created the intent of the criminal. 2. The concurring opinions led to dozens of right-to-life cases. 3. It clarified the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. 4. It defended life as a fundamental right. And 5. It resolved the question of rights of the individual versus government interference. Okay, I'm kind of fighting an uphill battle here if you haven't realized. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why my case outweighs Marbury v. Madison. Now, first of all, what you have to recognize in Marbury v. Madison is it's honestly a pretty irrelevant case because judicial review and the principles of it actually existed beforehand. First of all, it's written into the Constitution. Judicial review speaks to the power of the Supreme Court, and our framers' intent was to create a 3-branch legislature where each branch is as powerful as the other. Why would they have not given power to one of the branches of the United States government? Additionally, Articles 3 and 6 actually establish the powers of judicial review, and they're found in the Constitution. Even Marshall, the guy who decided on the Marbury v. Madison case, cited these reasons in his reason for decision on the case, because they existed in the Constitution. Additionally, according to Robert P. Jr.'s book Before Marbury, Hilton v. United States and the History of Judicial Review, and the Oxford Guide to U.S. Supreme Court Cases, Volume 5, Hilton v. United States, a Supreme Court case that precedes Marbury v. Madison by a span of 7 years, actually is the one that establishes judicial review. It was the first case in which the constitutionality of a law was questioned. The only reason Marbury v. Madison was even thought of as influential was because it decided a law was unconstitutional. Constitutionality was determined a lot in several cases before that. The first one was Hilton v. United States, precedes Marbury v. Madison by almost a decade, establishes the power of the Supreme Courts and the precedent of judicial review. Additionally, it's written into the Constitution. I can't get to my second point, I'll say that next. So Vacco v. Quill outweighs because it actually changed American politics, where Marbury v. Madison did nothing more than reestablish something that was already found in the Constitution and a previous Supreme Court case.
You're so cute when you try so hard.
Thank you for half defending my own case for me. I appreciate that, so I don't have to review all of that. Something that Marbury v. Madison did in addition to Ware v. Hilton was Ware v. Hilton only established constitutionality of state law. The big thing that Marbury versus Madison did was it also established the judiciary branch's ability to establish constitutionality of federal law, which the Constitution is federal law, Congress is federal law. It put the Constitution above everything else. And it did establish that the judicial branch was an equal power in the checks and balances system by saying that it could check anything that Congress did as unconstitutional if they found it to be. Basically, Marbury built his case on a law that Congress passed. That was his entire case, was that Congress said that the court could do something. And the court looked at the Constitution, they looked at the Judiciary Act of 1789, and found out that the Judiciary Act of 1789, part of it was unconstitutional. They completely invalidated that part of the act that actually set up the entire court system in itself. So that was kind of a big deal. Marbury versus Madison has been used in cases everywhere. Pretty much almost every case that we've talked about has been some debate over whether or not a law that someone else passed was constitutional and someone else defending their side against why it was or wasn't. So it didn't completely establish judiciary review, that kind of was the Constitution, but it really pulled the power of it out and said that, yeah, we can determine state laws are unconstitutional, we can determine federal laws unconstitutional, and it's been used in cases all over the board, everywhere. Roe v. Wade, your case with DC saying that if there was a ban on gun law, many kinds of things. So, yeah!
All good speeches in That kid's an ass.
Okay, first of all, she's confusing Ware v. Hilton and Hilton v. United States. Hilton v. United States is the one that established judicial review. I don't know why she's talking about Ware v. Hilton. Hilton v. United States was additionally a federal case. She's confusing a state-level Supreme Court case with a federal-level one. Forgive where we held it. So yeah, the judicial branch was powerful beforehand. Look to Articles 3 and 6 of the Constitution. It's pre-written. Judicial review existed before. And yes, the case is famous, but it's not rightfully so. Additionally, she concedes that it doesn't cause the principles of judicial review. This means you have to look to the stipulations of the case when determining which is more influential. The stipulations of Marbury v. Madison were actually straight up irrelevant. Like, they did not matter. Even if the case was pushed through and was considered constitutional, the person in question would only have been allowed to serve for 3 months because they were still operating under the Federal Judiciary Act of 1789. The case itself is irrelevant. The only thing that might matter is judicial review, and judicial review was established before twofold. First in the Constitution, secondly in the Hilton v. United States case. And Vacco v. Quill still creates intent of the criminal, and the concurring opinions led to thousands of cases. You need to prefer that over anything else.
Okay, so I originally said that Marbury versus Madison established judicial review after Tommy went down, or whatever you just said. I realized that it didn't completely establish it, it added on to it. It made the government more powerful, it made the judiciary branch of government more powerful. Really, judicial review has been used in cases throughout the history of the United States, and it's something that really was kind of a radical concept when Marbury versus Madison happened. What seems like common sense now really was crazy in 1803. So, like, look at what we're wearing, look at what they wore in 1803. Things, shut up, don't make that noise. But, so, like, really, judicial review, which was expanded on with Marbury versus Madison, helps cases everywhere and helps the United States really boil down to it, figure out what is the Constitution's right to have law over other things, what laws are not unconstitutional, and impacts the history of the United States every day.
Alright, so yeah! How many of you thought Joseph and his onslaught of Marbury v. Madison was more persuasive?
He didn't say anything about his case.
That's the whole
He
point.
did at the beginning. He did at the beginning.
It was an uphill battle.
How many of you thought that Rachel was more persuasive?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the class votes for Joseph. I am going to vote for Rachel and put the pressure on the senator. Merry Christmas. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep. Merry
I'm
Christmas.
gonna go with Vacco v.
Show me the happy face. Show me the happy face. Ah!